The resident safety ticket appeared at 9:58 on Sunday morning. Officer Colin Vetter had already been standing in Samuel Raines's driveway for 11 minutes. Samuel did not know about the ticket. He stood beside the passenger door of a black Porsche, one hand inside a gray work glove with the fingertips cut away. A lamb's wool pad rested on the concrete near an open tin of wax. Gospel music traveled through the kitchen window behind him. The plate was registered to Samuel. The address matched the house. No resident had called. Vetter's ticket still read, Community-Originated Welfare Concern. Samuel had heard the cruiser before he saw it. Tires moving too slowly along Linden Hollow Drive, an engine idling near the mouth of the cul-de-sac. He had placed the pad beside the wax tin and turned with both hands visible. Vetter stopped 6 feet from the driveway. Are you servicing the vehicle for the resident? Samuel looked at the Porsche, then at the front door behind him. No. I own the vehicle. I live here. Vetter kept his sunglasses on. We received a neighborhood notification about an unfamiliar person near a high-value car. What is the submission number? It will be in the system. Was I reported committing a crime? I'm trying to verify the situation. Vetter held out one hand. Identification. Samuel did not reach into his pocket. If a resident submitted a report, give me the incident number. Vetter's hand remained open for another second. Then he turned toward the cruiser. Across the street, Harold Benton stood beside a gray pickup with a travel mug balanced on the roof. The windshield camera had started recording when he turned the engine on. Harold did not wave. He watched Vetter enter Samuel's plate number. The return appeared in 31 seconds. Samuel Raines. Linden Hollow Drive. No alerts. Vetter read the screen twice. He did not close the contact. Instead, he opened the municipal resident safety portal. The first category he selected was unverified service activity. The public source box remained empty. He pressed submit. A confirmation number appeared. Vetter returned to the driveway carrying Samuel's registration information on his screen, but none of the certainty it should have provided. The vehicle record matches, he said. Physical occupancy is a separate verification. Samuel looked at the cruiser terminal through the windshield. What fact still needs verification? I need government identification and something connecting you to the residence. The plate connects me to the residence. A utility statement would work. Samuel glanced toward the mailbox at the curb. 2 houses away, a man in running clothes collected a newspaper without being asked for a water bill. Samuel turned back. You drove here because you saw me. There was no call. Vetter stepped farther onto the concrete. I'm explaining how we close these contacts. You have not explained how this contact began. The kitchen door opened. Talia Raines stepped onto the porch in pajama pants, a college sweatshirt, and bare feet. A ceramic mug sat between both hands. She looked at her father, then at Vetter. Vetter shifted his attention to her. Is she the homeowner? She is my daughter. Can she confirm you reside here? She is a guest in my home. She is not part of this. Talia placed the mug on the porch rail. Her phone came out of the sweatshirt pocket. Vetter saw it. He turned slightly, placing his body between Samuel and the front walk. The movement was small. The effect was not. Samuel would have to step around the officer to reach his own door. Sir, Vetter said, if additional persons are present, I need to document that the residence is secure. Samuel kept his arms loose at his sides. Is this voluntary? I'm conducting a welfare verification. Am I free to end it? Vetter did not answer. He returned to the cruiser and changed the ticket category. Welfare and occupancy concern. Additional person present. The original category stayed in the history panel. So did the creation time. So did Vetter's employee number. No public source appeared. When Vetter came back, Samuel asked for a supervisor. That is not necessary for a routine verification. Then tell me the legal basis for continuing. Vetter reached for his shoulder radio. Dispatch. Show me at Linden Hollow Drive, with an uncooperative male, refusing identification during a residential welfare inquiry. Start a backup unit. It was his first transmission from the address. Harold's dashboard clock showed the cruiser had arrived more than 12 minutes earlier. Talia's phone had recorded Vetter claiming a resident report he could not identify. On the portal, one field remained blank. The ticket said the concern came from the community. Did you notice whose name appeared in the creator box? Officer Luke Hanley stepped out before his patrol door finished swinging open. Vetter met him near the curb. Residential welfare check, he said. Male refuses identification. Possible unauthorized occupancy. Additional adult inside. Hanley looked past him. Samuel stood in the driveway with both hands visible. Talia remained on the porch. Claudia was behind the glass storm door, one hand resting on its brass handle. No damaged window. No cry for help. No one trying to leave. Hanley's in-car terminal issued a backup acknowledgement prompt. Community source independently confirmed? The options were yes, no, and unable to verify. Hanley left the prompt open. Vetter turned toward the porch. Ma'am, I need you to come down here. Talia kept her phone at chest height. Am I being detained? This is a safety procedure. We identify all adults present during a welfare inquiry. Samuel shifted one foot, placing himself directly below the porch steps, without moving toward either officer. She is not coming down. Vetter hooked one thumb behind his duty belt. Interfering with a safety check can become obstruction. Name the safety fact, Samuel said. The fact is that you are refusing a lawful verification. You changed the standard after the vehicle information matched. Vetter glanced at Hanley. Hanley looked at the dispatch event strip on his portable terminal. It showed the first radio transmission beginning after Vetter had already been at the address. No civilian caller was listed. He lowered the terminal. He said nothing. Vetter pointed toward Talia. I need identification from her. She is a guest in my home. Then she can confirm that. Samuel's voice sharpened for one sentence. Stop using my daughter to repair your explanation. Talia's phone moved slightly. Samuel saw it and lowered his voice. Call a supervisor. Across the street, Harold Benton stood beside his pickup with a pocket notebook in one hand. He wrote the time of Hanley's arrival, then the time Vetter ordered Talia from the porch. Vetter noticed him. Sir, stay out of this contact. Harold tore the page from the notebook, folded it once, and placed it inside his shirt pocket. My camera has your arrival, he said. He offered nothing else. Vetter stepped closer to Samuel. Last opportunity. Produce identification and have the adult on the porch do the same. Samuel did not move. You have no emergency and no lawful reason to direct her. Vetter caught Samuel above the left elbow. The grip turned inward, meant to rotate his shoulder toward the street. Samuel planted both feet. He did not pull away. I am standing still. Stop resisting. Hanley took one step forward, then stopped. Vetter released Samuel's arm and drew an expandable baton. The steel sections locked with a hard mechanical snap. Talia's recording captured the baton at shoulder height, and Samuel's hands still open. Claudia did not come through the storm door. Her fingers tightened around the brass handle. Samuel watched Vetter's right hand. Lower it. You do not give commands here. Keep your eyes on my hands, Samuel said. I am reaching inside my jacket for identification. He moved slowly. 2 fingers entered the inner pocket and withdrew a worn leather credential holder. Vetter kept the baton raised. Samuel opened the holder. A retired commission card sat behind a clear window. Beside it was identification from the Treasury Department's Criminal Investigation Division, marked retired. Hanley read the card first. Vetter read it second. Samuel did not raise it higher. This explains my training, he said. It does not change what happened before you saw it. A supervisor's cruiser entered the cul-de-sac. Sergeant Marisol Vega walked directly to the driveway. She saw the baton, Samuel's open credential holder, and Hanley standing several feet away. Lower the baton, she said. Vetter lowered it. Vega did not ask Samuel for his resume. She opened a supervisor audit tablet. What observable emergency started this welfare check? Vetter gave the reference number. Vega entered it. The audit displayed the creation device, employee account, and first transmission time. No resident source. No liaison transfer. No call recording. Vega attached a preservation tag before anyone could edit the event. She looked at Hanley. Did dispatch identify a caller? Hanley checked the acknowledgement prompt, still waiting on his screen. No. Vega separated the 2 officers, requested a medical check for Samuel's shoulder, and instructed Talia to retain the original video file. At the precinct, Hanley faced the same 3 options. Yes. No. Unable to verify. Selecting no would put his own name into the review. Selecting yes would complete Vetter's version. When keeping your position requires one dishonest click, and telling the truth places you inside the investigation, which choice feels easier, and what does that ease say about the system? The vendor representative is not available today. Captain Hugh Talbot placed a blue folder beside his chair and suggested that the panel begin with Officer Colin Vetter's use of force. Director Denise Calder did not open the folder. We begin with the source. The external review docket listed 7 events. The first was Vetter's cruiser entering Linden Hollow Drive. The second was the vehicle inquiry. The third was the creation of the claimed community concern. There was no resident contact before either of the first 2 events. Talbot said the source data belonged to a third-party platform and could require several business days to authenticate. Denise lifted a vendor checksum certificate from her case file. The platform company had delivered it the previous afternoon. The source origin ledger identified one account, Colin Vetter. The entry had been created from his patrol terminal after he had already approached Samuel. No resident name appeared. No neighborhood liaison appeared. No incoming telephone record appeared. Vetter's attorney raised the possibility that an informal concern had been relayed verbally. Denise placed one finger beside the empty source column. By whom? No name was offered. Samuel sat beside Claudia in the second row. He did not reach for the microphone. The panel moved to the vehicle inquiry. It had returned Samuel's name and home address before Vetter demanded additional proof of occupancy. Vetter said ownership did not establish that everyone inside the residence was safe. Denise asked which observable condition created a welfare concern. No broken window. No call for help. No missing person. No medical request. The welfare category appeared only after Samuel declined to produce more documents. Hanley testified next. He admitted dispatch had never identified a caller. He admitted he had left the confirmation request unanswered, while Vetter moved closer to Samuel. Why? Denise asked. Hanley folded his hands over the edge of the table. I thought leaving it blank meant I was staying out of it. His later statement preserved the contradiction. It did not erase the time when he watched and did nothing. The review then reached the older complaints. Talbot asked that those cases be handled separately because the files had been transferred to off-site storage. Denise produced 3 archival pull slips. All 3 boxes had been delivered to Talbot's division 4 days earlier. The complainants had still received letters asking them to complete new archive request forms and reconstruct dates already printed inside the department's files. One woman had been asked to provide Vetter's badge number again. The number appeared on the closure letter Talbot had signed. Denise placed that letter beside the new request. Same officer, same number, same department. The closure routing sheets showed the same path in each case. Officer summary, supervisory approval, insufficient evidence disposition. No independent witness interview. No source verification. No comparison between the claimed community concern and dispatch records. Talbot said his division had followed the normal review order. Denise opened the review manual. The manual required the reviewer to establish how the police contact began. Talbot had treated the officer's description as the source. The shortcut had reduced the review time. It had also protected Vetter from 3 earlier findings. Samuel spoke only when the panel asked what remedy his family wanted. Contact the other families before issuing a public statement. He did not ask for a personal apology. He did not request a board seat. He did not ask the city to place his former title in the press release. The findings were adopted the following week. Vetter submitted a resignation letter that morning. The city rejected it. His employment record would show termination for cause, not voluntary separation. The separation notice listed false official statements, unlawful detention, improper expansion of a welfare inquiry, and unjustified force. His case was referred to the state certification board and the county prosecutor. The state placed an immediate hold on his law enforcement certification while the referral was reviewed. Other departments could see the hold before considering any application. The city also ordered a review of every residential contact in which Vetter had used the phrases community concern, occupancy verification, or uncooperative resident. Hanley received an unpaid suspension and a sustained failure to intervene finding. He lost solo residential contact authority for 1 year. He could not certify another officer's account during that period. He was required to testify in the reopened complaints. His decision to correct the record reduced the penalty. It did not convert him into the person who had stopped the incident. Talbot was removed from internal review. His closure authority ended before the decision was publicly released. An external auditor took possession of 3 years of his approval files. Talbot was required to sit through the transfer of each reopened complaint and identify the source verification he had relied upon. For the 3 Vetter cases, there was none. The corrected dispositions named the failure directly. Contact origin, not independently verified. Officer narrative accepted without source review. The earlier complainants did not have to file again. 2 findings were reversed. 1 detention entry was removed from a municipal background record. A school disciplinary notice, based on another contact, was withdrawn after the department informed the district that the underlying police account could no longer be supported. The city reimbursed documented towing fees, missed wages, and legal consultation costs tied to the reopened cases. Each family received both versions of the record. The original closure, the corrected finding. The department could no longer send a replacement letter without showing what it had replaced. The city issued a compliance order. A contact could not be labeled community originated without a source number that existed before officer arrival. An officer's own observation had to remain self-initiated. Later category changes stayed visible. A welfare inquiry required an observable safety fact. A matched residential vehicle record ended occupancy verification, unless separate evidence supported further action. Backup officers had to confirm, reject, or formally decline the claim source. A blank response no longer disappeared into the workflow. Complaint reviewers had to examine source metadata before signing a closure. Civilian accountability received direct, read-only access to the origin ledger. No patrol supervisor could remove that access. 3 Sundays later, Samuel stood in the garage with the door open. He folded the gray work gloves and placed them on the middle shelf. The empty wax tin went beside a box of extension cords. From the kitchen, Claudia moved biscuits from a cooling rack onto a white plate. Talia's voice came through the small speaker near the sink. She was describing a student who had finally made it through an entire debate round without looking down at her notes. Harold had left 2 cups of coffee near the side door. Samuel carried them inside. The passenger door of the Porsche still held a faint swirl under the October light. He left it there. Breakfast was already on the table. Talbot had believed that sending a complaint through enough offices could make delay look like caution, The corrected records now showed exactly who had delayed, what they had ignored, and who had paid for it. This is a fictional story created to examine bias, accountability, and institutional reform.